Welcome back, Flow Talk Episode 7. Rory Tettemer here with y'all's superstar pitcher, Darrien Williams. Darrien, how are you feeling? I appreciate you joining us today.
I feel good, man. It was a hot day. How do you feel?
I'm feeling good. It's extremely hot outside, so we are in one of our suites. You guys might have seen it in some of the R&R talks, but we're in the suites. Do you remember, it feels like just yesterday, but also feels like a long time ago, like the preseason meeting happened in here with everyone in here lining back.
Yeah, lining back with the brown shirts on.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a long time ago.
Long time ago. It's been a long season, and you've been around here the entire time. I appreciate you coming on and joining us. It's always fun to talk to a relief pitcher as well, and a guy that I've had a good relationship with this season. That jersey is rocking. Tell me a little bit more. I don't know if any fans would know about that jersey. Just tell me a little bit more.
So it's a movie called Hardball. It's about a white male who lives in an inner city youth area of a certain city in America a long time ago. It's a predominantly black little league, period.
Yeah.
Comes in, is having like relationship problems with his girlfriend, just wanted to, do something good for somebody rather than himself. He ends up creating this huge relationship bond with all the kids. This jersey, it says G-Baby on the back. G-Baby was one of the youngest kids on the team. But due to like the poverty situation that they were in, G-Baby ended up getting shot and killed by a stray bullet during like a drive-by. And the kids end up winning the Little League for G-Baby. And, that coach, he stayed and helped mentor and keep those kids safe as much as he possibly could. But it was a great thing for those kids to see that role model come in and try to do some good in the neighborhood.
How about that? That's a good movie. Hardball.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a baseball movie, right?
It's a baseball movie, but it's like a hockey-built jersey. Yeah.
That's fresh.
Yeah.
That's fresh.
Thank
A
you.
guy that's always dressing well. I mean, if we had those competitions running throughout the season, I think you would have won those on-bus fit competitions.
Yeah.
Pretty majority of the time.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that dresses well. Darrien, you've had a really good year with Florence. I think it's coming off of a year with Idaho Falls as well. 38 games you've pitched, 38 innings pitched. I really like seeing you in those, tight games, those tight scenarios, just because I think you are one of the best pitchers on the team. What has the season meant for you? And, obviously, like I said, you've been here a long time. You've been here the whole season.
Yeah.
How have you, been able to stay the entire time?
Well, last year, I'll piggyback from last year. Last year, a lot of people don't know that I was hurt the whole season.
Wow.
So 2020, I had Tommy John when I got released from the Angels. So those 2 years from 2020 to 2022, I was rehabbing for Tommy John. Last year was my first full season. I got banged up second week in the season last year, played with it, which was kind of not very smart. My numbers doesn't really show, what I went through, but came back this year healthy, had a full season healthy, thank God. Chad, Carl, and, Massey, they took a liking into me. Carl, Chad, they took me in spring training. They worked with me just on different small mechanics that were big key factors into my production this year for the team. It was simple things, but they were big changes to any pitcher. So I feel like, just those changes and just by the grace of God, I had a great, healthy season. And I feel like it only gets better from here. I'm still learning, and I'm still trying to actively become the best possible teammate I can possibly be to help us make this playoff push, actually, if, we can still make that push. But, just trying to be a team player and do what's needed out of me.
Yeah, absolutely. And he mentioned the playoff push. Technically still not out of it.
Yeah.
We're like 5 games back with 6 to go. So still there, but not quite. But either way, I mean, you've been having a great season. You brought up a few good points there. You had Tommy John, and now you're back. You've touched the highest on the radar gun from a Florence y'all this year, 97, 98. What were you throwing before Tommy John, and what was that rehab process like?
Before Tommy John, I never hit above 96.
Wow.
I topped out 96 maybe like 3 times before Tommy John. I was sitting like, I was saying like on a good day before Tommy John, like 93, 95, and that's with me really trying to let it go.
Yeah.
The rehab process was probably one of the best rehab things experiences I've had. Getting released and getting that surgery was probably the best thing that could have happened to me in my baseball career. It had me slow down, think about what's next, think about what areas in my baseball career needed the most work. It was strength. My college, we didn't have like the state of the art lifting program. But it was something that helped us maintain. But I needed to get stronger. I was pretty weak for my size. Actually, I got a little bit stronger. Just in Houston, training with different facilities, dynamic sports training, Tomball, Texas, and P3 baseball with A-Rob and my close friend Jordan Johnson. They helped me get stronger, built this mechanical just realm of work that I'm very thankful for. So just stronger, things like that. When I came out of TJ, from 3 to 5, my first game back was with the Cleveland Railroaders for some rehab innings. Some of the guys were asking how hard did I throw. I was like, honestly, man, like 93, 95. My first game back out of TJ, it was like 94, 98. And
Wow.
yeah, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good feeling to see that hard work pay off. So yeah.
Yeah, and that happened all during COVID, right? I mean, you got that in 2020?
Yeah.
How was that? I mean, you have to rehab while also in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, so my parents, they're older, 60 now. They're 63, 64, and so they have certain conditions to where like I had to kind of stay home, because if I brought COVID back home, they were in that percentile that they said, hey, if this percentile gets this in COVID whatever, then they could possibly decease, and so I kind of had to stay at home. So what I ended up doing was I got my own place in Houston, and just started training out of the Houston area, and I could kind of move how I wanted to move, and just making that big move was the best thing I could possibly have done.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, you don't see that often. I think it's comes case by case, but you actually have Tommy John and then can get stronger out of it. Obviously, velo-wise, he goes up a few miles per hour. You brought up home. Your mom and dad, mom and pop. Bryan, Texas, correct? You grew up in Bryan, Texas. How was that? That's one of the states I've never been in. What was growing up in Bryan, Texas like?
If you're from like a city like Houston or like, let's say like around here, like Cincinnati or like Detroit, you'll say Bryan is country. I don't think it's country, but like whenever you live in like a country city, you don't feel like it is because every day is fun. You find like something fun to do. Like at home, something fun for us to do was going outside, playing basketball in the front yard, things like that. We didn't really have a lot. Like we had like a skating rink, like basketball courts around, baseball fields around, but it wasn't a lot of entertainment. It was like what we made it. So you can say it's country, but there was some good sports being played down there because that's all we really had to do as kids. So yeah.
And then you developed a city vibe. I mean, this is like a full, I feel like a city outfit here. Were you ever did you ever have that country vibe to you? And then what, just a little bit more time in Houston?
I never had a country vibe. Yeah. I was always, growing up, it was whatever my parents bought for school. That's what I put on. Middle school, I kind of had like this piece matches with this piece. And then high school came around, started dressing a little bit more. Then I went to the college I went to. It was like you put on your best fit almost every day. Try to, So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. And you brought up Prairie View there. So how did you end up at Prairie View, and what was the experience like?
So out of high school, I did pretty well in high school. I didn't think I would go to Prairie View, but I had an offer to go JUCO. That offer got dropped for some reason. Then Prairie View offered me the next day. Went there. The coach DM'd me on Instagram, and he was like, hey, when do you play next? And I told him when. He went to go see me play. He offered me shortly after. Went there, and that was just that. It was great time, great friends, relationships, and just overall, I think good baseball.
Good baseball. And at Prairie View, you were pitching and hitting?
Yeah, they wanted me to pitch coming in. I didn't want to pitch at all.
Yeah.
I didn't really pitch in high school. I didn't really pitch growing up. I wanted to hit. So my freshman year, I had like 40 at-bats as a freshman. I had like 2 innings as a pitcher. Next year, that coach got fired, and then we brought in a new coach. And then new coach, Antoine Riggins, he's a great baseball coach. He saw potential in me, and he had me pitching and hitting, starting-wise. It was new. I had to learn. I hit 350 hitting-wise that year. And then my junior year, I became a pitcher only because we felt like that was the best route for me professionally. And then it's been a PO ever since, and I'm still learning, So, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've seen you hit in pitcher BP. You've always been one of the better pitchers hitting-wise, and now I know it. 350 as a sophomore, then the next season to go into a PO. That's pretty impressive. Do you still like hitting? I mean, was that ever – obviously that was probably more of a love at first. Has pitching overtaken the love of hitting?
I would say so now. I still feel like I'm pretty athletic. I feel like I can go out there and compete athletically with the best of them. But hitting-wise right now, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think I could get back into hitting right now because these guys are professionals at what they do. I'm a professional at pitching. And, I'm not even going to disrespect any hitter that's professional because they put so much time and hard work into their craft. I don't think I could catch back up and even get back into the game hitting-wise. So kudos to anybody hitting or doing anything professionally. It's just so hard to do at this level. Yeah. I do wish I did hit sometimes, but I'm glad where God has me right now.
Yeah. In a prime-on-prime battle, I'd be interested to see Darrien Williams on the mound versus Darrien Williams at the plate there. I mean, you'd have to catch up to what, 90?
I could hit myself because I know my flaws.
You know your flaws.
I got the scout report.
True. That's true. Very good. Very good. All right, and then let's talk about the Angels. Obviously, you get drafted out of Prairie View there. What was the draft process like for you?
The draft process, I had a pre-draft workout with the Angels, a pre-draft workout with the San Diego Padres. I thought I was going with the Padres only because that scout was always around, as well as the Angels as well. But the Padres one, was the one I was talking to the most. Draft day came around. I wasn't really worried about day one. That's obviously not. Day two, back when I was getting drafted, it was day one, like rounds 1 through 2. Day 2 was 3 through 10. In my mind, I'm like, all right, it might be 10 rounds. I'm like, but realistically, I was thinking about, from round 20 to 40, whenever they had the 40-round draft. So day 3 was whenever I was like by my phone a little bit, didn't really get any texts or calls the 2 days prior. But around, I would say like the 20th round, I got a call from the Angels, like, hey, we're thinking about taking you in the next few rounds. And they were asking me about like, would this, be good enough or whatever, yada, yada. And I was just like, that's fine. I just want to play baseball. And the 26th round, got picked up and drafted, and the rest was just history. One of the best days of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can only imagine what that experience was like. I mean, just growing up Bryan, Texas. Were you with your family when you got the call? My dad was at work. He has his own business, so he was at work. I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, my little brother, and that was it at the time. Yeah.
But the draft was so long. It was so long. My parents, they wanted to be at the house, but we kind of waited around a little bit, and they just had to do other things that they needed to do that day. But they all came back home. We all celebrated things like that, and they threw me a big surprise party. Like a few days later. So it was all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, that's a really cool experience, even to share with anyone. I'm glad you had that experience.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously with the Angels, you had 2 seasons there, correct?
Oh, yes. When I got drafted, like a few weeks later, I went to go play in the rookie ball league in Arizona. Then I came back home, went back out for spring training. I was played like another year. Went back. That was 2020 when I went back spring training, and then that's whenever they sent everybody home.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever I got the call that I was let go. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. And obviously, you've had this great season with Florence. I want you to end it well. What's next for you? I know you're still looking to get back into that affiliated ball. We've had that conversation before, and I still think that's obviously a realistic possibility. I mean, anyone that's throwing 98 plus can hang out with the best of them. What's next in the off season for you?
I've already texted my strength coach. I'm like, hey, let's get to work.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm looking at places to go back in Houston to stay at. Kind of close to him. Really great guy. His name is Dennis. Does great work. Has been around both the gyms I trained at. He's a guy who I went to last off season, and I've been healthy ever since. And just really going back to the drawing board. There's some things mechanically like I already know that I need to fix, but I'm not going to fix them during the season or during the games. That's not smart. I'm going to hone in on what I need to fix mechanically, strength-wise and just staying healthy-wise. I feel like I've done a pretty good job this year, and just clean up some pitching grip mechanics that I feel like would better myself. But just become an overall player, man, and just working on the mental aspect as well.
Yeah.
Is just going to be big for me. So I'm pretty excited to see what the offseason holds for me. And if winter ball opportunity does come up, I would consider playing in the winter ball as well.
How about that? How about that? So maybe possibly winter ball. That'd be extremely exciting to see out there. We're really excited for everything you've done for, obviously, the Y'alls this year, what you have ahead. Best of luck in the off season, the health, and I've really enjoyed broadcasting you as well.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh yeah, I've listened to you, man. Whenever from the start to the end, when I try to watch my album and see what I could have done differently or things like that. I hear you, man. I appreciate the kind words and all the support that you've given me, but also everybody else on this team. So yeah.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And he's been trying to get me on this protein program or a workout program for quite some time. So maybe we could see that in the off season a little bit. Get on the Darrien Williams workout schedule.
I got to ask you about your off season program, man. Yeah, how much you got to gain? You about 20 pounds, man, to come back, be the biggest broadcaster in the Frontier League, man.
That's always been a goal. I don't know how much competition I have in the Frontier League, but
not much.
Not much. But moving on. Hey, I got to get like Kevin Furman, that mega ump down there.
Oh yeah, he likes to work out with some of the players. Whenever we're at the gym and we see him there, he's just like, "Oh, what's up, guys?" And so like he's really cool. He's like, I'm not gonna say who's the coolest umpire in the league. I don't think I can say that, but. You can kind of catch, yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
I catch the vibe there.
Yeah.
I catch the vibe.
Yeah,
Either way, Darrien, we've loved having you on. Best of luck in the offseason, best of health, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, sir.
Darrien.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Flow Talk, Episode 7. Rory Tettemer, Darrien Williams. We'll catch you next time.